This is a quick video to show how to remove the clock from a C1 Corvette. All you have to do is give it a little press. You might put your hand behind it, press it in, rotate it to counterclockwise position, and then push the clock out. And here you can just remove the power supply if it's still connected, or the light bulb. Test light with just grounding to a metal point. Just test to make sure we've got power. Yeah, it's definitely a hot wire. One of the things about this is if your clock is not working and it's wired into here and it's jammed or it's not functioning, they say that it can cause a fire hazard, that it's a good idea to put, I believe, a 2-amp fuse in line here to prevent potential fires, and also keep it from being a parasitic drain on your battery. If this is not functioning, but it's got a motor attached to it, you're just running your battery down. Another common problem with this C1 Corvette clocks is that the bulb, even if it's a brand new bulb, it won't illuminate. And the problem I found with mine was that it did not have a good solid ground with the plate behind the bulb. Even though this was mounted to it and the bulb was making good contact, it wasn't a good enough ground to be able to get the bulb to come on. And to solve this, what I ended up doing was I attached a wire up to a solid metal point, and then had another wire attached. There, right behind this plate, there'll be a screw that holds the plate into the cowling, and I just attached it from there to there to make sure I had a solid ground. And as soon as I had done that and put this back into the light housing, the bulb worked just great. So hopefully that'll help somebody else out there. The clock is held in place with this spring retainer clip, and it can come right off pretty easily, but you can see it just resides down here. And these pins are what retain and hold it into the position. So when you just push in and turn, that's what the spring keeps it nice and tight in there, and acts to hold it in place. To remove the screw or the setting knob on the front of the clock, you want to take a pair of needle nose pliers and get a good grip on it. And then the crown just will unscrew like this, comes right off. And that allows you to be able to take the faceplate of the clock off. To remove the faceplate, you're going to need to undo each of these pins. You can put a screwdriver in there and pry the little tabs up, and then the face can come off, which allows you to replace the glass or the plexiglass face, clean up your inside, and access the internal workings of the clock. All right, getting the clock face off was not that easy. It's on very tight, and you know, it has these tabs on the edge here that you have to bend out as best you can, and then forcing it from these groove points, you kind of have to just persuade it to come off, but it will come off with a little prying and some screwdriver work, and that allows you to get the bezel and the clock face. These are both replaceable items. All of these are. I'm going to try to just clean these up as best as possible. Probably use a little plastic polish on the polycarbonate face and clean up the interior, make it look a little nicer, and see what we can do with it. One of the first things I'm going to try to do is clean up the glass, the plexiglass on the face of the clock. I'm adding a little bit of Meguiar's plastics, specifically for polycarbonate plastic materials, and I'm just going to use a little orbital buffing disc to give it a nice flat polish. And we'll just polish it a little bit with a microfiber. I can tell already that that's got a good. For the inside of the glass, there's a lot of white paint in there where the numbers are, and I don't really want to get any contaminant in there, so I'm just sort of I put some Meguiar's on here, and I'm just cleaning it up around the numbers as best as possible without trying to get any in the grooves where the numbers are. The 12 has a lot of debris up here, so next thing I want to do is clean up a little bit on the back. I've got a brass Dremel bit on here. I'm just going to clean up some of the bolts and screws. Next, I'm going to remove the screws. This is a 5/32 bit. I'll just take off the nuts. By pushing on these little studs, the whole clock is coming out of the system, so I'm going to continue to push on these. Just give it a gentle push until the clock bits come out, and this little spring was attached to the front down here, and now we can see the internal workings of the clock. I'm cleaning the bezel with a Q-tip and again some Meguiar's plastics. Just sort of gently go in and polish the chrome. I don't know if it's plastic. It's probably plastic, so that's why I figured it was safe just to use a real mild polish on it, and then just, it's looking pretty good. So now it's got a nice shine. Yeah, that's looking really nice. Beautiful.